Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Carson City Advisory Board to Manage Wildlife, held today on Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. I would like to recognize a few things before we get started. Member Daniel Thompson is joining us via Zoom or via video conference. Danny, good to see you, bud. You look well, and glad that you are able to join us today, my friend.
Absolutely, technology is great. It's good to be participating here today.
Good deal. I'd like to just recognize as a notice to the public that the state of Nevada and Carson City are currently in a declared state of emergency and response to the global pandemic caused by the coronavirus or COVID-19 infectious disease outbreak. In accordance with Governor Sisolak's declaration of Emergency Directive 006, which has suspended the provision of NRS 241-020, requiring the designation of a physical location for meeting of public bodies where members of the public are permitted to attend and participate. Public meetings of Carson City will not have a physical location open to the public until such time as the directive is removed. Although we do invite members of the public who wish to only view the meeting but do not plan to make public comment to watch it via a live stream that's going on right now at carson.org/Grancius or Granicus. So GRANICUS, and by clicking on the in progress next to the meeting date, or by tuning in to the cable channel 191, which is our public access network. It's on there as well. Members of the public who do wish to participate during the public meeting may do so by providing public comment during the two designated public comment periods indicated on the agenda via video conference or telephonic appearance. For the video conference, you do have to have an internet connection and a computer equipped with a camera and a microphone. The access number is on the agenda, and public comment can be provided or could have been provided via email to the public comment carson.org address no later than 3 p.m. today. So did we get any public comment from that, Tamar? No. We did not.
No, Mr. Chair, we did not.
Chair Beamer, we do have Doug Martin out there online right now too.
That's great. I'll get to that here in just a second. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that they can go in and provide public comment during the public periods. What I'd like to do, given what Member Green just said, our Vice Chair Green just made mention to, is anybody that is on the conference line or tuning in via video conference. I think it's just Daniel right now, but anybody on the conference line, if you can identify yourself for the record, just so we know you're on. I'll give you about a minute to do that. Is there anybody on our conference line right now that can identify themselves?
Mr. Chair, we do have two callers on the line. Would you like to take their public comment now?
Not yet. We'll call for that here in a moment.
Okay, so when it's time for public comment, I can only identify by cell phone number. So
Okay.
I will address the cell phone number, ask the caller to state their name for the record, and we can continue from there.
Perfect. Is there anybody else that you know of that's on the line that we know for sure? I know Doug Martin apparently is.
Doug Martin was on the line, but I do not see him anymore.
Okay.
We have his public comment. I believe it's been forwarded to you.
Yeah, I do have a copy of Doug's public comment, but certainly would give him the opportunity to voice that in person should he desire to do so. If not, I'll read it during the public comment period. With that, let's get started with the agenda, if you're okay with that. Is our deputy attorney general on the line? No? Okay. With that, we'll call the meeting to order at this time. Tamara, can you call roll for determination of a quorum, please?
Chair Beamer,
Here.
Vice Chair Stewart, Member Green,
Here.
Member Fleming, Member Thompson. I know he's here. A quorum's present.
Thank you, Tamar. Let's all stand and honor our country by stating the Pledge of Allegiance. And Member Fleming, would you mind starting that for us?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir.
And do we have Carl Lackey? Because I just got a call that he's trying to call in.
Carl, are you on the line? Carl Lackey?
I do not see Carl Lackey on the line.
Okay.
If I can call him from this,
Do you want to reach out to him? Do you have his number? I can get it to you.
Charles getting it.
Say it again?
Charles getting it.
Perfect. Okay. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and start the first public comment period. The public is invited at this time to comment on and discuss any topic that is relevant or related to or within the authority of the Carson City Advisory Board to manage wildlife. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda. And I do have the ability to limit public comment to no more than 3 minutes. So is there any public comment at this time that would like to come forward?
I'd like to make a comment.
Let's if we can, Member Green, if we can go ahead and have the folks that have called in, maybe identify themselves and let's hear them, and then we'll have you give your public comment after that. Is that all right?
First caller for, excuse me, for public comment is number 775-720. Please state your name for the record.
If you can hear me, this is Carl Lackey, Department of Wildlife.
Carl, welcome. Go ahead and. Carl, you there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, sir. Go ahead and
Okay.
present your comments.
No, I'm just here to answer questions regarding the quotas, if you guys have any as we go.
Why don't we table that, Carl? If you could just hang on the line for us. We'll get to the consent agenda and see if anybody has anything to poll on that, which I think there's going to be. So we'll probably want some of your input on that if we could. So if you can just hang tight, we'll get to that here in just a minute. Can we go on to the next public comment?
Caller 775-882, it is your turn for public comment. Please state your name for the record.
Can you hear me? This is Doug Martin.
Hi, Doug.
I've tried to log in and use your WebEx and it's not working, but I can see you and I can talk on the phone. I have no comments other than on the quota. If you'll take that at that time, I'll reserve my comments until then, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Doug. I am planning on polling that, so we can discuss that. So if you want to hold tight until we get to that, you and Carl both can offer your comments to that. Any other public comment at this time?
There is no more public comment.
Perfect. Member Green?
Yeah, I'd like to comment on what we have in our area. We have a lot of ponds and areas that are stocked right now with fish and continuing to be stocked because that's what we have to do with the fish. And they're open for fishing, and it'd be really nice if people understood that they can go to these areas. Bailey Pond is one of them that is full right now and could use some fishing, some fishermen to help relieve the number of fish. That's not the only one, but we could really use that effort on people's part who enjoy fishing. It's an excellent, a very, very good way to stay away from people too, because fishermen don't stand next to each other. Unless it's a parent and a child normally. They're more protective of their line and their pole and stuff than that. So if you can, I'd like the public to know that the ponds are stocked. Please enjoy them.
Perfect. Thank you, Member Green. I will couple that. We took our little ones out for a great fishing extravaganza.
Mr. Chair, could you please turn on your microphone?
So sorry about that. Any other public comment at this time?
There is no more public comment.
Perfect. We'll go ahead and continue on the agenda item and close the first public comment period at this time. Agenda item number 4 is a possible action item, approval of minutes for the March 17, 2020 meeting. All of you have been provided that. Any discussion or questions or concerns regarding the minutes? Seeing none, I would call for a motion to approve.
I move for a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion, second.
I second.
Seconded by Corbett Fleming. Any further discussion or from any of the board members? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Say again.
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. No dissenting votes? Good. The motion passes unanimously, Tamar. Item number 5 is an informational item where we get an update and activity report on the Carson City Urban Wildlife Committee. I just have just a few brief things to report on that. I appreciate Member Green bringing up the opportunity to fish here locally. I've been told that Hobart, if it isn't open already, will be open here very soon. That there was very little damage to the road going up there. They feel like there's not going to be too much of an issue, what I've been told. And so we'll look forward to seeing that. And then we have been conducting a number of bird watching, aviary watching, and identification workshops over the last couple of weeks, mainly for the youth that are at home. It's been great because down in the Eagle Valley here east of town and down around the city yard in that area, that wetlands area down there, and then also over in the Carson River area, we've done a number of, I think 7 different workshops we've done over in that area, and it's been a lot of fun. We've been able to identify some really cool duck species, a lot of wood ducks, which I thought was neat. Good to see them in their breeding plumage, which is a lot of fun, and see how they strut and identify how they act during this time of the season. And then we've also seen a number of blue-winged teal believe it or not, which is a little bit late for them. And the cinnamon teal, of course, are right on time, and they have been in abundance along with pintails and quite a few diver ducks over in the by the city yard, which was neat. So it's been a lot of fun. We have gotten reports of a few bear sightings here in the city, and mainly up in the Timberline and Lakeview area. So just kind of forewarn that bears are starting to emerge. We've gotten a lot of reports regarding snakes starting to show up in people's backyards, including yours truly. And my sweet wife was startled by a big gopher snake sitting in our planter, so trying to eat all the voles and stuff that are starting to come out as well. So spring is upon us, it looks like, and we are starting to see the deer be active and bobcats and everything be active. So just a reminder to the public that we do have laws against feeding our wildlife, and just be cognizant of that. Anybody that's wants to know more about that should reach out to the Department of Wildlife, and they can fill them in on that. Any further comments on this agenda item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close this and go to agenda item number 6, which is informational item only, update from the chair on the April 10th Nevada Board of Wildlife Commissioners meeting. The only thing that I will report is that it was a video conference meeting, of course. We did set the waterfowl regulations and seasons, and it was very successful for what we had asked for. Just so you know, we were able to, the commission did vote on starting the season on October, the same week as, the same Saturday as Chucker season starts. I think it's October 17th, if I recall. And then it's also going to close on the last day of January. So I think we're able to come to a great compromise with a lot of folks. I know it's impossible to make everybody completely happy, but I think for the majority, there was a good compromise there. I think the commission saw that. And that's what I have to report on. Anything else? Member Green, I know you were on there, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I watched the entire thing. It was good. I was impressed with how they threw it together in a hurry and managed to get through all of this technology with a lot of hunters and ranchers and farmers that aren't used to using the computers a lot. But they managed to get through it, and I was impressed.
Yeah.
I really was.
Well, I appreciate that. I just want to end this by just saying, I was also impressed with the fact that the commission just seems to be like a fine-tuned clock, right? Not everybody agrees on certain things, but at least all of the members of the commission are reasonable, and our staff at Department of Wildlife, our director and deputy director, and all their supportive staff, man, I just, my hat is off to them. They do such a fabulous job, and I just can't commend them enough for what they do on behalf of the department as well as behalf of the public. They really truly want to make sure they have a sound process, and it was very evident in that meeting, even with the difficulties they had, and I was so impressed with it. So anyway, with that, I will close out agenda item number 6, and we'll move on to agenda item number 7, which is the consent agenda. Is there anybody that would like to pull any items from the consent agenda at this time? Just as a reminder, the items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and may be acted upon by the advisory board to manage wildlife with one action and without extensive hearing. A member of the advisory board may request an item to be pulled without or for separate discussion and action, but the advisory board chair retains discretion in deciding whether to pull an item from the consent agenda. Any items at this time that any members would like to pull from off of the consent agenda for discussion?
Member Thompson would like to pull 7A.
7A, thank you, Member Thompson. Is there any discussion or anybody would like to pull 7B for discussion? Seeing none, I will go ahead and call for a motion to approve item 7B and in support of what's being proposed in the black bear quotas. Any discussion at this time? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Have a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion to approve by Member Thompson, seconded by Member Green. Any further discussion at this time? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion approves unanimously. We'll go on to 7A and pull that for discussion. Member Thompson, we'll start with you, please.
In regards to the request by Doug Martin, I would like to discuss his request. Since we have Carl Lackman on the phone, I was hoping that he may be able to give us some insight in regards to the change in quotas. Looking at them and from statistics from last year, the draw rate for 192, like for archery, was 43%, and 195 was 19%, which was doubled that of any legal weapon. Even greater than that. So I was just hoping to get some clarity in regards to why the quotas were changed.
Good deal. Carl, would you like to, before we start with Carl, any other board members want to ask any other further questions? See none, we'll go ahead and ask Carl to come up and maybe answer Member Thompson's questions and then provide us any other insight that you want. Carl, are you in receipt of Doug Martin's request and proposal?
Yes, I am. This is Carl Lackey, Nevada Department of Wildlife.
Thank you for being here, sir.
It's the same thing. The last several years, our recommendations along the Carson front have been lower than what's been approved the previous year. It's because we are forced to use the demand success ratios and coming up with quotas. Biologically, I've explained this before too, that adding a few more tags to archery or muzzleloader biologically is not going to impact the herd. So if you guys choose to do that, you won't have any opposition from me or us. It is all strictly that demand success ratio. The herd is holding its own. I had a really good fall survey in mid-December, really good survey conditions. My spring survey, however, was not so good just because of climatic conditions. It was really warm, not much snow, the deer weren't visible. Got some pretty low numbers in the spring survey.
Was that
Again, it was all due to climatic conditions.
Yeah, Carl, if I may, were the low numbers in fawn recruitment, or what was the deal there?
No, do you want the 192 or you want 194?
Let's start with 192 and then go on to 194.
Okay. For 192, my spring ratio for fawn to adults was about 24. Not great. It was lower than that in 194. It was only 18 in 194. But in the spring, that's not too bad. The low numbers that I'm talking about were just overall survey numbers. The deer were hard to find. It was really hot, and they were all shaded up under the trees, and they don't like to move unless you get the helicopter right on top of them. So that's
Good.
the reason for the low numbers.
Gotcha.
But nothing alarming in this. Nothing alarming in this herd. It's been stable the last few years, really, holding right around 1,000 animals or so.
So no concerns with the low numbers. You're attributing that to just the deer not up and around moving due to lack of weather pushing them around. Is that correct?
Yes, that is true.
Okay. Any other questions for Carl?
I was just wondering if he have seen reports of increase in predation in regards to the fawn that might be impacting the fawn count.
You'll have to run that by me again. I didn't catch that.
Well, I've been, just out on my annual, daily walkabouts. I've been seeing a substantial increase in the amount of fawn kills in the 190, 194, 196 area. And I was just wondering if you have seen or heard about that.
No, that's the first I've heard of it. I wouldn't have any idea why there would be a increase in the number of the fawns being killed unless it was late weather, winter oriented. But our winter was pretty mild, so I wouldn't anticipate that either.
And I said it's not non-scientific. It's just from year to year, you come across, and it's just this year came across to anywhere from, depending on the bones, 6 to 8 different animals, which is twice as much as I've seen in years past.
No, haven't heard anything. Maybe you're getting better at looking for them. Who knows?
I doubt that.
All right. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate your comments there. Doug Martin, are you on the line? Would you like to, we're in receipt of what your request is, and I, for one, am 100% in support of it, especially after getting the information we just got from Carl. So, do you want to just kind of maybe review that with us, and we can vote on that?
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Mr. Chairman, Doug Martin, Carson City resident, sportsman. I appreciate Carl already replying regarding this, and I'll just summarize here. And basically, it's, gentlemen, the formula used to calculate quotas includes as one of the inputs hunter demand. This input, in my opinion, skews the tags to favor any legal weapon, rifle category, and thus reduce archery and muzzleloader a little. Then below, I gave you information regarding the quotas that are being proposed, and I'm just putting in a request that we go back to the quotas that were approved in 2019, especially since there is no biological impact of increasing the archery and the muzzleloader, as Carl just indicated. And I have no qualms with the department and their methodology. It's just every year we need to pay attention to this, and if we'd like to have the archery remaining above the reduced numbers, we just need to come back every year and take a look at this. So my request is very simple, and that is for you to consider making a recommendation to the Commission that the 2020 year 192 and 195 unit muzzleloader and archery quotas be increased from the proposed by the department to what was approved by the department or by the Commission in 2019. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Doug. Any further public comment at this time? Any further public comment?
There is no further public comment.
Perfect, thank you. With that, let's turn this back over to the board. Any further discussion from the board on this?
I do have to say that Mr. Martin has always come to us very information-based. He knows what he's talking about. It's hard to argue when the biologist for the area says the herd can support it. And that the only reason that the numbers have changed is just based off of the formula to increase success rates. So you keep people coming around. And when you do look though at the overall numbers in regards to last year's the amount of people that put in for draws, for 195 there was 20 for muzzleloader. For 192 there was 27. So we're talking about a very small segment of the population or the hunters within the area that select this. So, and then, when you look at the any legal weapon, you had 2,875 applicants. And of course, it's a lot. It's tougher to hunt with muzzleloader or archery. I'm saying I don't support this. I just say that, for the benefit of the overall sportsman in regards to our decision. If that makes any sense.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, this is Gene Green, board member. I would like to propose that we approve any legal weapon numbers at 40 for 192, 80 for 194 and 196, and 25 for 195. And on the muzzle loader for 192 with 15, 194, 96 with 5, 195 with 5. And down on the archery end, 192 early, 25, 192 late, 20, 194, 196 early, 20, 194, 196 late, 25, and 195, 10. That would be my proposal for the approval of this recommendation.
Is that a motion?
As a motion,
Okay.
if I may.
Perfect. So we do have a motion on the table. Anybody care to second that?
I would like to get,
You want some more discussion?
yeah. Okay. I second.
Corbett Fleming seconds. We have a first and a second. I'd like to open it back up for discussion. Member Fleming, do you have some comments there?
Right. Mr. Lackey, are you still there?
You can hear me. I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you as long as my
Hello.
mic works. Oh, that's probably why it doesn't work. I was an operator error. Discussing that, you said something along the lines of adding more. I'm just curious on the numbers that you proposed, Member Green. Is that enough for more, too much more, just recommendations? Is more doubling, more 25% more? I'm just curious as what ballpark range is.
Well, Carl Lackey, Department of Wildlife. For the primitive weapon hunts, the tag numbers that you had last year in 192 and 194, I'm fine with those. But if I heard that motion correctly, on muzzleloaders, the motion was for our current recommendation, which lowers muzzleloader tags in both units. Our recommendation is 5. Last year in 192, there were 15 muzzleloader tags. So is the motion to increase our recommendations to 15?
That was the motion, yes,
The
to
same
increase
as
the
last year?
recommendation to 15.
Okay, the numbers that he read out did not reflect that, unless I heard it wrong.
No, I have, this is Gene Green, and I did, I read out 15, I believe, because I had them highlighted, and I just read the highlighted numbers in correspondence with the area group.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, the primitive weapon hunts, and again, just reiterating, when you look at the success rates in those primitive weapon hunts, increasing the number of tags by 10 may result in 1 or 2 more deer getting killed. So again, that is not biologically relevant.
Thank you.
Any further discussion, Member Thompson?
No, I'm good to go.
Just to clarify, are you in support of that then?
Yes, I'm in support.
Perfect. All right, so we have any further discussion, guys? We have a motion on the table to accept the 2020 quota for any legal weapon on all three areas, to recommend that the muzzleloader resident hunt 1331 in 192 be increased to 15, and then 194 and 196 remain at 5, 195 at 5, which is the same from 2019 to 2020. So only thing changing in muzzleloader is the recommended at 5 is going to go, we're going to recommend going up to 15. And then on the resident mule deer antlered archery hunt 1331, we're recommending that 192 early be increased to 25, 192 late be increased to 20, 194, 196 early that we support the 20 that's being proposed in the 2020 quota recommendation, as well as what the late season, we're accepting the quota being recommended in the 2020 quota recommendation to 25. And then in 195, we're recommending that goes up to 10 tags. Do I have that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So first, or a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those and signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously, Tamar. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate you guys always being here and willing to come in and help us in making these decisions, and sure appreciate your guys' willingness to serve. With that, we'll go ahead and let's see here. With that, we'll go ahead and go on to agenda item number, looks like 8, right, or 9? Did we skip 8? Okay, so it's listed as agenda item number 9, so just for the record, 8 was not included. We'll go ahead and list this as agenda item 9 for information only item, advisory board member commitments to the June 26th and 27th, 2020 Wildlife Commission meeting in Yerington. I've been told that meeting will likely only be on Friday. Will be a telephonic meeting for those that want to tune in by public, and there is an email that's just for that meeting. So I will be attending that and participating in that. I will make that recommendation via email to Brandy to pass on to the commission and to the department leadership. And let's see here. Then we need to just discuss the June 26th and 27th meeting, I guess, in Yerington. I would be available to go to that as well. And
I will also be available in June. I've already got it on my calendar.
Perfect.
Either way is an easy drive down or spend the night either way.
Yeah, I won't be spending the night, I can assure you that, but if either of you guys want to, or any of you members want to go to that and you want to stay the night there, hopefully we'll be open and operated by then, and we'll have a actual meeting. We should plan on that. If everything remains the same, then we will table that. But for the most part, we'll go ahead and plan on that. All members are welcome. We just can only cover expenses for one person. So any of you guys that want to do that, I'm going to be paying my own way to attend that meeting. So, and I won't be staying the night. Well, I will be staying the night, but not for that. We're actually going to be camping that weekend out at Walker River State Park, so I will be there, okay? Going on to agenda item number 10, informational item, any future agenda items that the members of the board would like to see on future agenda? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and move on to public comment, the final public comment period, which is agenda item number 11. The public is invited this time to comment on and discuss any matter that is relevant to or within the authority of the Carson City Advisory Board to manage wildlife. Any public comment at this time?
I see no public comment.
No public comment. Seeing none, I just want to thank Tamar and her staff, Cheryl and everybody over at the clerk's office, how wonderful a job you guys do, especially during these times. Member Thompson, it's great to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well, and I don't know what happened to Member Stewart. I'm sure he'll reach out to me and tell me he got caught up. I know he was working today, so he may have gotten held up on something going on at the Capitol. So, Member Fleming, again, great to see you. And Member Green, you're the man, dude. So appreciate all you guys. We'll go ahead and call for adjournment at this time.
Before adjournment, Chairman, are we going to select the next meeting? I'm sorry, I should have brought that up earlier.
Yeah, so we already did go over that. That was actually the June meeting, and it's going to be in Urington, Dan.
No, our CAB meeting.
Oh, yeah, just.
I'm sorry.
The Tuesday before.
It's the Tuesday before. I'm sorry. So it'll be held on Tuesday, unless we say otherwise. It'll always be held on that Tuesday, and we kind of are doing that to kind of help your schedule out a little bit there, Dan. And certainly, I know it's tough sometimes for those of you that work out of town and stuff. So, and Member Fleming, if there's ever a conflict, make it known to us so we can discuss that in our public meeting. And I think everybody wants to do their best to try and accommodate us. I know Member Green and we probably have a little bit more flexibility than the rest of you guys. And so, perfect. Is that good then, Dan? Are you good?
That's awesome. No, that's perfect. Thank you very much. I should have known of this, but it just went in the calendar.
And Kirk Stewart just emailed me and said,
I'm gonna be late.
no, he says, sorry, I totally forgot. So, anyway, I'll prep him. I'll see him here in just a little bit, so I'll prep him and let him know what's going on and whatnot. Okay? Thank you all. Appreciate you.